All right, welcome to the channel. I pray that you guys are doing well on today. And all right, so you see the title. I am going to do my best to provide you guys with some information. Hopefully it will be useful to you. I promised, they didn't ask, but I offered to provide this information to a family who will be moving soon. I think they're planning on moving, but yeah, and I hope that it will be beneficial to them, and not only them, but to others as well. Okay, so for those of you who are in Ghana, Accra, and surrounding areas, Accra, Ghana, all right, and surrounding areas, you should be aware of, the rates by now, how housing prices are. Okay, the mainstream information that's out there as far as how much housing costs. But if you've been in Ghana for a while, or if you have just gotten a hold of this information, then you may have learned that there are options for more affordable houses outside of the center of Accra. All right. And so when you look at this map right here that I have on the screen, it shows the Greater Accra area, right? And so this particular area right here is basically the center of the Greater Accra area, but it's actually Accra, not the Greater Accra area. This is what you consider the Accra area. And in this area, you're going to see places like Airport, Cantonment, Jolu, this Dzorwulu is pronounced Jolu. All right, so Jolu, you're going to see places like North Kaneshi, and you'll get familiar with some of these names if you spend a lot of time in Accra, okay? But the price of housing in Accra is through the roof. I mean, in many cases, it's more than what you would spend in the U.S. or other countries, okay? And so for many people who are coming here and who just want to get to know the country, spend time in the country, they're not looking to come and spend a lot of money on rent and housing, okay? But to get to know Accra, I would suggest that you spend time, or get to know Ghana, spend time in a home, okay? First, a home, and learn more about the country, learn more about the various regions. In fact, Ghana has 16 different regions, and we spend most of our time, many of us, just in this area right here, which is considered the Greater Accra region, outside of Accra and inside of Accra, okay? But you see to the left here, this is what you consider to be the central region. So when people land in Accra, right around here, airport, they spend time here in this green area. And then for those who have bought land, say out in a Cebu and such, they head out to this way, to the central region of Ghana, right? But if you have purchased land, say out near Kumasi, you'll head out, and you'll head north, and then you'll head out in this direction, okay? But I want to show you guys some options that can save you some money, okay? So let me get to some other things first before I do that. 1 second. First, let me show you the 16 regions. So for the most part, when we land, you land in the Greater Accra region. Now, they're supposed to be offering direct flights from the U.S. to Kumasi. So some people are going to be able to go straight to Kumasi, which would be great, right? And so that's going to save them time from having to come and spend time in Accra, and then, get a hotel, and then fly out to Kumasi, or just wasting time in the airport just to go to Kumasi. Now they're going to be able to fly directly to Kumasi from the U.S. So that's wonderful. All right. And then that means for the most part, more room on the plane as well. Okay. But there are actually 16 regions in Ghana, and most people spend their time in this small area right here, or perhaps they go out to the central region, which is Cape Coast, Elmina area, or they may go even further to the western region. Usually those who are here head out to the western region when they're getting their Ghana card, or taking care of some other activities in the western region, right? But you can end up, say for example, if you are buying land in the Greater Accra area of Kasawa, which is right outside of Accra, or Potin, or Winneba, or Gamoa Feta, or any Gamoa East, Gamoa West, any of those areas, you can end up leaving from here and having to drive all the way to the central region just to register your land. All right. So that lets you know that it gets kind of tricky. You can be standing here in Kasawa, in places like Tuba, Kokobiti. I always say that wrong. That's where the beach is. You can be there and you can end up, having to drive all the way to Cape Coast just to register your land. Okay. And so yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully they'll be changing that. But guys, look, there are 16 different regions. Most people spend their time in here, which is the most expensive region of the country. Then there's the central region, the western region, eastern region, Volta, Ashanti, Ahafo. All right. Then there's a Brong Ahafo, then the western North, Bono East, OT region, Savannah region, northern region, northeast, upper northeast, and upper east, and then upper west. The northern region is actually under the northeast and under the upper east and upper west. Okay, so you see that Ghana it's a, compared to many states in the US, it's a small country, but it's a big country at the same time. And so there's room to spread out, but I would be careful. I would first try to learn more about the people in those regions and the languages that they speak, because a lot of them don't speak Tree. All right. So if you have learned some Tree, you'll discover that some of them don't even speak Tree. They have their own language that they speak in those areas. So do your research. But I want to show some of you some options for homes that are much less. You see the price range that I put up there. All right. In the Accra region, it's nothing to spend about $2,000, $800, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Ridiculous prices you would not even spend in the US. Okay. All right. And you're looking around like, are they kidding? All right. There's no water. We don't have a road. All right. Okay. That's supposed to be a road, but it's not a road. I'm just going to keep it real for real. Okay. But there's no sewer. I have to buy my water. The electricity is off all the time, this, that, and the other. So listen, guys, you want to spend as little as possible, because there are going to be other costs that you will incur, such as porting your water. Okay. And now I would say, adding filtration systems and stuff to your water, which you should have, those things in place. When I first came to Ghana many years ago, I brought with me our own filtration system. Okay. Now, if you heard me talk about the water system situation in Ghana, it's toxic. It's even deadly. It's even causing people to be born with birth defects. Okay. And develop kidney diseases. That's the reality on the ground. If you haven't heard me speak about it, go listen. I'll be talking about it some more. And for many, you may decide, I don't want to be in Ghana. Okay, they need to fix this water. And so I need more of us to look into this, to learn about this, and to do something. Make a decision that's best for you. Okay, test your water, have your land tested for toxic chemicals that were used or may have been used. Find out which river you are on, which river is feeding your land. For those of you who say, oh, I'll get a borehole, the boreholes are also impacted by this. Okay, but that's not what this video is about. All right, but I have to always include it in there. Now let's talk about affordability. Where do you find? I'm not going to give you specific communities. I've done that in the past. If you've been to my website, I've taken some things off. I'm not doing that. I'll be doing some totally different stuff. So check back again later. What I have up there now is your ability to contact me. All right. But what you can do is go to this particular website that I'm showing you right now. But do not, I repeat, do not send money to anyone on any website that you meet. Do not. Do not. And also be aware that a lot of times these so-called agents, who now have all become developers, interestingly, they will list properties that are not even available just to collect a viewing fee. They'll take you, you'll agree to go and see something. They'll take you somewhere, or they'll meet you, or you'll have to pick them up somewhere, and they'll take you to something that is not what they said they were going to take you to. Okay, so be aware of all those tricks. All right, maybe I'll do something else different and tell you about all their tricks and how to look out for them. But some of the places that you're going to want to look into, let me just show you this first of all. Okay, let me show you something else. All right. These places right here, okay, if you see any of these names that are on here, you can freeze the screen and see these are places that are located in the center of Accra. Okay, these are all center of Accra places. Okay, and those places are going to be the places that are going to cost the most for the most part. You see East Legon, you see Jolu, you see Airport Residential, even places that are known as Zongo like Pig Farm, Mammal B, Nima. No offense to those who live in those places, but those center of the city places are going to be expensive. You can't afford land there. It's very, very expensive. All right, I can't say, well, let me change that. I don't know what you can afford. All right, but for most of us, I can. Let me speak for myself. I can't afford land there. I can. Okay, all right. But places like Cantonment, North Ridge, North Industrial, all of those places are center of Accra places. Okay, Osu, all of those places. So we're gonna want to look in places that are outside of Accra. All right, and so if you are new, you don't know the name of those places, you don't know some of them. Now I'm going to include here, for example, there is a list of places here that name some of the cities that are in Accra. I can tell you some of them that are outside Accra. For example, Dawenya is outside of Accra. Dodawa is outside of Accra. Okay, this is in those would be in the Greater Accra area. All right. First, it depends on where you are, but Tema, for the most part, is outside of Accra. Now, Tema has 26 communities, and so it just depends on where you are. But 26 communities, most of them are outside. Well, they are outside of what's considered the what's considered the center of Accra area. All right, so you're looking for Frafraha, Oyibi, Oyurifa, Dodawa, Jolu, like I just showed. Those places are places that are going to be outside of Accra. Prom, Nuningo, those places are also outside of Accra. And so in those places, you'll be able to find homes that are going to be much more affordable and honestly, sometimes even better than what you can find in Accra. Better, newer, also inside of estates as well. And the rent the price of those homes will literally blow your mind, because you can't believe that you were in Accra paying $1,000 and you come out further, just a little further, and you're paying a quarter of that, okay, per month. You can get stuff for as low as 150. When I say as low as 150, I mean what I'm saying. All right, in estates. I'm not going to give the name of those estates in this share, all right, because I can't vouch that there are available places now, and I don't want you going there looking for these places or meeting up with people who are going to trick you. I only present what I have on hand at that time. All right. Once, like I said again, I'm not offering that service again to anyone. Those people that I did provide the services to, as I stated in another share, I advertised the price, but I didn't charge one person over the years. And I don't say that to boast. I'm just saying it to let you know that I did provide those services, provided information to people, but I did not charge any of them, although I listed the price. And so, if you are one of those people, don't feel obligated to say, yes, she provided the services for me. I'm just putting it out there, okay, to let you know that there are people out there who are willing to help. Sometimes people state that there's no one that's willing to help. Well, there are, okay? And you have to also be willing to pay for their time. And so, see, those who were willing to pay for my time ended up leaving, not having to pay anything. So all praises to the Most High, Yah. But let me show you some places that you can look. I'm just going to name a few, all right, like from that list. Let's try, for example, Abacobi, all right? That's what I have up here. And I think the current rate is about, what, 15 to 1 right now, 15 to 1. I'm going to pause this and get my calculator one moment. All right, guys. So sorry for that delay there. And let me just plug something in. I think I said, well, I'm sure I said from the U.S. to Kumasi before was a direct flight, but I think it's U.S. and connecting in London to Kumasi. So that's still an improvement. If that's the case, that is wonderful on Ethiopian Airlines. All right. So, for example, we're going to start out with this particular place, Abakobi, right? So this is a place that I've actually advertised on my channel space here before. And what I did was I showed you guys a home, okay, and I walked through that home, and so I can vouch for the quality of that community. It's a gated community. It's paved all the way through. It's, you know, a good community. They have a home listed here for this particular amount, and I'm going to go, you know, I'm going to round up to the current conversion rate for US dollars. So if you got a home in that community, this is what the monthly rate would be. The law in Ghana is 6 months for term, that landlords cannot ask for more than 6 months. I personally have never ever paid more than 6 months at one time. Okay, you know what? I think my very first year, let me correct that. I think my very first year I paid 10 months, right? And then I added 2 more later because there was a concern about whether we're going to leave at a certain time. Okay, but I ended up adding at the end of that 2 more. But since then, and I'm telling you, in 20 something years, if I've ever needed to rent something, I never paid more than 6 months. Okay, never more than 6 months. And so it's just a matter of talking. Agents will tell you that you can't get it, but they've told me I couldn't get a lot of stuff that I ended up getting. Okay, but be prepared to pay for a year because things are changing. A lot of people are returning back to Ghana, and space may not be available. Space may not be available. And if you're getting a good rate like that, why not just go ahead and lock in if you can, okay? If you know you're going to be here. If you know you're going to be here. If you know you're not going to be here, then that's another situation. Don't give them your money because they won't give it back to you. They'll tell you they'll give it back to you, but they won't. I've had that experience 2 years and years before. No, don't give them your money. They won't give it back to you. Unless you can walk away from it, do not give them a year. Unless you just want to hold on to the place even when you're gone, then give it to them, okay? But if it is a good rate like this, you may want to just go ahead and lock in for the year. So if you get it at this particular rate, all right, and you pay the 12-month upfront, you're only going to pay $2,800. And I say only, but you know, compared to rent in other places. And that's for this particular place right here, right? And others. There are others like this in this particular community. And I can tell you that I don't approve, you know, a lot of things just so easily, but I can tell you this is a duplex. This right here is a duplex, but these homes are really decent and good. This is a, you know, not all homes are designed the same as far as tile and such, but as far as the layout is concerned, the layout for these particular duplex are the same. All right, I think this is a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, and living room, dining room, kitchen. You saw the kitchen there. All right, and this is the compound, and it's a gated community, good security, and tiled or paved throughout the community, so you know your kids could, you know, ride their bikes. But I would be careful. In that particular community, they have a lot of curves, and so cars may not see them, you know, coming around that curve, so you want to be careful. They could actually ride in their compound, or you can go out with them or something. But it's something that you may want to consider. All right, once again, if you see these online, do not give these people your money up front. Go and see the place yourself, and insist to speak with the owner yourself to make sure that these are legitimate homes that are being advertised. Okay, so one more moment. Let's go and look at some more. Let me scroll down. For some reason it's not allowing me to access something, so I have to go in this way. Hold on one second. All right, so I'm back again. So I have to break these up because of an issue with the computer. But so now I've taken you to another location. All right, and so this one is going to be called Oyurifa. All right, this is also in the outskirts of Accra, but all of these places are close enough. You know, you can drive in within an hour. It's not going to even be that long. You are actually still in Accra. Let me just say this: you are just in the suburb area of Accra. So for those of you, you have your Pizza Hut kick, you need to run to the mall, you need to just, be away from other places, then this is a good option for you. Also, let me just say, if you are building in certain areas and you need to be close to that area while you're building, but you don't want to be living out there, then you need to look for places that are in the Greater Accra area but are closer to the places that you're going to be building in. All right, so for example, if you're going to be building in the Kumasi region area, which is quite a bit away, but you're going to, but you still want to be in Accra, then you want to be out in the Mansaman area. All right, because that's going to take you straight out to that road. If you're going to be building in the Prom New Ningo area, then you want to be maybe in the Prom New Ningo area. You could probably find something, or in the Tema Dawenya area. If you're building in Dawenya and Tripoli, Dawa, any of those places, then you probably want to be in the Community 25, Community 26, Dawenya, those type areas. Okay, so you can have easy access, Prom New Ningo, you can have easy access to where you want to go. All right, so this is a sample of some of the options that are there. Remember, guys, there are a lot of scammers on here. They like to post things that are no longer available, but I can tell you that these communities that they're advertising do exist, and many of these price ranges are right on the money as far as what's being asked. If you want to stay, for example, under $500, then you don't want to go over, at the current rate, you don't want to go over 7,500 Ghana cedis. Okay, and so as you can see, there are quite a few places in the Oyurifa area that offer that. If you want to be in the Oyibi area, Oyibi is near Valley View. Valley View is a 7-day Adventist university, very nice university, and it's out on the outskirts of Accra, Pasadena, and as well. It's kind of opposite of Oyurifa, all right? But that's another great option for you. So you would go and you would look and see what's out in the Oyibi area. You have Apollonia. They may have some places out there for you to rent in that particular area. But to get your price range under the amount that I mentioned, then at the most you do not want to go above 7,500. Okay, and that's per month, but you can get it much lower. I can vouch for it. I can tell you, and I'm talking recent prices. You can get places for about 200, 150, and they are good places. Okay, once again, you have to factor in the fact that you are going to have to buy water in a lot of places, because Accra in Ghana has a major water crisis going on, and you may not get water. Okay, you may not get water, or water may come on and it may not get delivered to your area, to your home, because of the low pressure. So those are things that you have to also consider. All right, so seeing some of these prices right now, I'm looking in the Oyibi area, and these are prices and homes that are available. So I'm just trying to provide this information to you guys so that you won't feel like you're stuck out somewhere and you can't find any place and you can't afford a crop. No, the problem is that information. It's the lack of information that you may have about this, and people are only presenting, high price homes, and it may be good for someone. What's good for someone else, it may not be good for you. That's not to knock them. I don't like to tell people what is too much, because I'm not their accountant. I don't know what they can afford. All right, and so if they can afford something that's much higher than what I can afford, that's very good for them. I want to stay in the range that's comfortable for me, and there are a lot of people who just need to be within a lower range, and that's nothing to be ashamed about. Okay, and also when you're building, guys, don't feel pressure to even just jump into building. Building is not a YouTube video. Okay, it's not a YouTube series or episode. There are people where we are right now that have been building for years, and I mean literally years, and the places are still not complete, and they're working on it little by little by little, and some have just completely stalled altogether. Okay, you'll run into that. Nothing is happening. Trees are growing. Okay, all right, but hey, I don't know what's going on with their finances. Maybe they have done all that they can and their children or their grandchildren will pick it up. Who knows? All right. But do what you can do. Do your research as far as just reaching out to people and seeing if they can help. Be willing to pay for people's time and effort, for their research, for their information, even if the information is free and out there publicly. Be willing to invest in their time and the knowledge that they have gained and their willingness to share it with you for a fee. All right. Because if somebody can give me information that's going to save me about $5,000-$10,000 a year or even more, I think, $50 is very little to pay for that information. $100 is very little to pay for that information. But make sure you're dealing with someone who's knowledgeable and not someone who's just, trying to gather as much money as possible and not deliver anything. Okay. And be clear on what it is that you expect them to deliver, and they should be clear on what it is that they are going to deliver to you, so that there will be no confusion about what you expected and what they provided. Okay. All right. So I hope this helps. There's some others that I may put in the description box as far as places that you can look, and I hope that it helps you. God bless you all and have a wonderful day. Shalom.